What's good, everybody? Welcome to the first edition. This is the very first episode of Niders Empire TV. I'm the host, Mikola510, joined by the other host, Udi Bans. Today, we're going to be talking about pretty much the game from last week. You know, it was a tough loss to the Chicago Bears. The Niners looking to bounce back this upcoming week against the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks won yesterday on Monday, so this should definitely be a tough game and a true test for the Niners. Odie Bands, we're gonna start off with the Niners performance, man. Obviously, we watched the game on Sunday. It was a tough game. Everything seemed to work out good in the beginning. Everything seemed to be pretty decent. We were in the game. We were taking control of the game. I noticed we were getting the ball a lot at midfield. You know, later on, unfortunately, the weather it seemed to have played a factor in the game. I mean, like the player said later on, there's no excuses, but I feel when you got to play in a bad weather game and you're a team that's not used to those type of conditions, they're definitely going to affect you more than the other team. So, how would you rate the Niners' performance overall this week? What do you feel their performance was like, and what do you think they need to work on for the following week?
I feel like in the first half, it was like basically almost a perfect game, except that we couldn't finish off to get those scores. But in the second half, defense couldn't stay committed to not committing all those penalties. We were giving them free yards, letting them drive down the field, wide open targets. Like we just fell apart in the second half.
Right, right. I seen that too, man. The first half it seemed like we was in kind of more in control of the game. You know, we was able to the time of possession and just manage the game and stuff like that. But as the second half came, I noticed like the defense just kind of took their foot out the pedal. They started playing a little bit more loose. You know, playing like they had the game in the bag already when it was far from. You know, there was still a whole bunch of game to go. You know, we weren't winning by so much. But yeah, I felt like the Niners' performance, could have been it definitely lacked off at the end. They could have showed more motivation and more pride towards trying to win the game. I feel in the beginning the defense played good. I mean, the running game. Unfortunately, the running game with Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mitchell's out for 2 months, unfortunately, so that's a big blow to the running game. The offensive line, I would rate. Trent Williams, he's doing his thing, the locking his side down. But unfortunately, I mean, the right side is a little is a sketchy side of the line. I
Yeah.
believe it's pretty sketchy over there. So that's something that the Niners are definitely gonna have to work on all season. And if I would rate the performance, man, I really would only rate the performance a C minus. Because I don't give it a D because I do give it a C, like C minus to C because they did try, they did put the effort in. If it felt like it was a to B effort in the beginning, and then it just drifted down to like mediocre and average, like really
Yeah.
just enough to stay in the game and to make it respectable football, but not enough to win the game.
Yeah.
Why do you believe? I mean, why you think we lost the game, man? Like overall, you think it was just because of the defense? Was it trading? Was it the first game? Was it on jitters? The coaching. Let's not forget the coaching. It's a. Do you believe this? Like we lost, but do you believe this loss was due to a certain individual, offense or defense, or do you believe, or the coaching staff, or do you believe this loss was the whole team in general lost this game?
I think overall, because the offense for sure could have scored more points because we definitely had 40, 50 yard possession every single time, and we couldn't capitalize on that. So for sure, the offense had a big play. Debo fumbled inside the red zone, and the defense as well played a part because they just kept causing the penalties, which gave them the position to score. And then the coaching, it got bad towards the end. Shanahan for surely got out coached. So it played all of it played a factor, and the weather as well. It was all a factor. So it's a team loss for sure.
Yeah, it really was all a factor. It was like the man, it was like the perfect storm for the Chicago to come up at the end. You
Yeah,
could tell they didn't they're probably more used to it's the windy city.
yeah,
The weather's always worser compared to out here in California. So they welcome those elements. They welcome those conditions. They seen that those conditions had thrown the Niners off as a football team on defense and offense because they couldn't get anything going as soon as those conditions really started hitting. You know, Mitchell was out. They got away, and that's the thing with Shanahan. He does one thing and it's working in the first half. It's successful. It's running like a well-oiled machine. Second half, he wants to get away from certain things and go to other things that he sees does not start don't work. They're not clicking with the offense, or they're not clicking with the defense, or they're not clicking with the overall game plan of the game. I don't understand why that man keeps doing that. A fantastic play caller, a great wizard on offense, but his management of the game needs to start getting on point, because he keeps making it's like he's his own worst enemy. He keeps making the same errors. You have to go with what keeps working, bro. You can't switch it up, and you gotta do things that make Trey comfortable, whether it's throwing screen passes, short passes, that can give the kid confidence, that can get him going, make him believe that he can get other passes. I don't even know why I don't even know what's his name, Danny Gray, why he wasn't involved. They said it was because of it's like he already knew the weather was going to be bad or something like that. I
Mm,
guess it was broadcasted for it to rain. It was
yeah.
supposed to rain earlier, but it rained later, and everybody was in hope that it would never rain and stuff. But I don't know why Danny Gray's there, bro. Wasn't there? We obviously don't have running backs from last year. Now we're dependent on a couple of rookies this upcoming week. Let's just go to Trey's performance, man. It's been on everybody's mind this week. It's been on a lot of these casuals. The casuals get circled a lot. 1 minute they bash Jimmy, they trash Jimmy, they don't want Jimmy. Trey gets in. Unfortunately, he ends up at the end having to play in a tough game, in a tough weather game that he's probably never really played in. I don't really think he played in too many of those games in college. I was looking at his career. They didn't really see a lot of rainbows in his career. So tough game. I felt Trey overall. I mean, I'm gonna rate his performance an average performance. Could he have done better? Yes. Can we cut him some slack? Yes. I mean, this is his first game. We all know Trey needs reps. He needs experience. He needs time to develop. The talent's all there. The skills are all there with minus just twitching certain mechanics that he will work on and build off, as his career goes. But I feel overall, Trade, I mean, he went out there and he played gutsy. He didn't give up. He wasn't turning the ball over. He made a few bad throws and stuff like that. People could say they were bad throws. People could say the routes weren't run right. He still needs to get the rhythm down. See, people need to understand that in football, you can't just, there's only a certain amount of quarterbacks you could plug in life that will have a good relationship with a receiver. Like right away. Even if you say you bring in an eight, I mean, for example, like they're just certain quarterbacks. You can say Derek Carr and Adams. Are they gonna right away click off the bat? There's obviously gonna be a little bit of time, even if they worked in training camp. Training camp and game time play is at a whole different speed. You know, it's at a whole different speed, I believe. And I feel like Trey, in time, he'll develop those relationships with his receivers where he could trust them, and the ball could be delivered on time. But it's tough conditions too. But I feel overall he was pretty poised, and he played tough, and he definitely showed his leadership, and he took responsibility after the game. How do you feel on Trey Lance's performance for his first game?
Yeah, I felt like
Not
it
his
was.
first game, but
Yeah,
his
yeah,
first
this
start.
season. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like it was average to a little bit above average, like slightly, but like because he was doing good when it wasn't
yeah,
raining as hard. He was making those passes to Ayuk down the field. He used his legs and got first down that were like 3rd and 13. Like he was making
yeah.
those runs. He wasn't like hesitating like he was in the first year. He was
Yeah.
hesitating to hit those holes, and he was actually hitting them. So
The
he
only
was
thing
actually
I, the
doing
only
pretty
thing I
good.
hate, let me cut. The only thing I hate about his runs, Trey, please slide, bro.
Yeah,
Stop trying to run into people like you're a running back taking on linebackers. We need you out there. You can't keep getting hurt. I don't care if Trey keeps getting hits and he keeps getting back up. Those hits are going to start wearing him out throughout the season. He will learn the hard way. We need you out there at 100%. Continue.
yeah. So and then after the second half, I mean, it started raining a lot harder. Everybody's seen that on TV. So it was a lot harder to grip the ball, to throw a perfect spiral. It was just a hard condition to put him in. So I think he
Right,
did
right, right.
average game.
Average game, yeah. I mean, it was a tough condition, just tough weather, just tough all around. All around, I just feel
Yeah,
like Then once it was raining, I mean, we know when it's super rainy games like that, super snowy games, how many people could really grip the ball, how many people could really catch the ball, make the perfect pass. That's when people got to do the extra to really get it done. But yeah, I feel like there's a. I didn't really see a lot of mistakes from Trey. I feel like not really the media, but the fans are definitely the casuals, the bandwagons. People that don't understand football truly are bashing them. Because it's like 1 minute you don't want him, but how how is it that you want Trey out of there after one game? I mean, it's one game. He could have done way worse, or he could have just gave up under those conditions. But he never tanked it. He kept trying and this and that. I feel like for this game, the players that who do you think stood out? I mean, definitely for me. I'm not gonna give no
there's
game false because they
I'm gonna,
lost.
yeah, I'm gonna just say one player like that really stood out. That's really surprised me was
Right.
Hufanga.
Yep.
Hufanga just played. He was there every single time. What was a running play or anything? He was there every single time, making tackles, and
Right.
he got this interception. Like he really surprised me. He balled out.
Yeah, I mean, he surprised me in a way too. I mean, his first season he didn't really do much, but I mean, yeah, he's balling. I mean, but like people they're expecting big things out of Ufanga. He's been working with Troy Polamalu for the past 3 years, so they're hoping that his game is modeled after Troy Polamalu's game, where he's like a ball hawk. He's all over the place. I definitely paid attention to Ufanga during the game. How when they were showing certain replays, he was looking at where the quarterback's eyes were going and stuff like that. He was paying attention definitely to the quarterback and his surroundings. He really played the strong safety position to very good, almost perfection. He had some nice hits. I believe he got a sack or two. I had to go back and look at that, but he definitely held it down. He was definitely he held that secondary down. I believe he had a very lovely performance. I mean, on offense, I don't really, pick anybody out. Debo didn't have no amazing game. The running game, unfortunately, Mitchell's out. That's definitely somebody's gonna have to step it up there. Coaching, I thought the coaching Shanahan, he let me down. Like I thought he definitely could have opened up the playbook a little bit more. Done some type of trickery, some type of play that could give this team some kind of spark to get going on offense.
Yeah.
But he kept it very basic. He kept it very predictable. And as the weather grew stronger, it's like the Bears just fed off the weather. It was just like the perfect weather. It's like they got power out the goddamn weather, and they played the perfect in those conditions. Their defenses started coming up, and they pretty much they outlasted us at the end. And that's what that was. What are your final thoughts on the Niners? We're 0-1. We're playing at home next week. This week, the weather should be in the 70s. Should be a beautiful day to play football out here in Santa Clara. Seattle coming in after that motivating win against Russell Wilson and the Broncos. What are your thoughts on that game, man? Do you think the Niners could take it to them, or do you feel it'll be a close game, or or are we looking at an 0-2 start?
I mean, we always struggle against the Seahawks for some reason, but I do expect us to win. It's a must-win game. We do not want to start the season 0-2 when we have a lot tougher opponents coming up.
Yeah, this is definitely a must win, and this is definitely going to be either a confidence booster for Trey, or it's just going to keep hurting his confidence. I really don't know. Like, to be honest, I really don't know how much his confidence is hurt. Like, I heard him at the press conference. He seems pretty poised. He seems pretty relaxed. He knows this is. He knows the pressure's on him. You inherited a Super Bowl team. Unfortunately, this team hasn't won a Super Bowl in man decades. So they expect you to win now, and Trey knows he's got to win now. So this is going to be a big test for Trey. I expect Danny Gray to be out there. I expect Shanahan to open this effing playbook up Get this play action going. Get this team going. Get them sparked up. Get some plays to spark them up and get this offense going, man.
And play
Because
more Debo ball. We need more
exactly,
Debo to
because
get
if you
going.
look at it, really that defense at the end, they were looking a little bit exhausted because the Bears started coming out on the field more on offense now. A lot of 3-and-outs with us too. We need to get that ball, keep the ball in possession, because I expect the Seahawks come out the same way they came out against Denver. A lot of motivation. Pete Carroll knows we're gonna want to run the ball somehow. He knows how to get into these coaches' heads. Shanahan needs to keep his calm. He needs to go what works. He needs to open up the offense, and I believe those will be the keys to success and ball management. Team just ball management too. I believe those are keys to success for a win, and to try to limit the defense from being on the field. Ufanga, they need to keep doing the same things. I feel like they need to put the pressure on Gino and hit those blitz too. So, you have any other thoughts you want to
That's it. We just
Well,
need that
that's
must
it,
win.
everybody. We'd like to thank everybody who came out to the first episode of Niter Empire TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell on. Also, look for us on Twitter and other media platforms. We'll be back on soon, man. Hope to get some interviews in the future.